So I thought I'd talk a little bit about what it's like to be a teacher in summer. And, you know, a lot of people give us flack because you get summers off, right? Which for one is false. This summer, I'll definitely be working on some curriculum, but I also got to do some de-escalation training with the school where we learn how to de-escalate students who are having a meltdown. It's not always easy when you're in a classroom and a student may be throwing chairs or ready to fight or cussing somebody else out. I can take it as a teacher. Not saying all teachers should ever have to be in that position, but the reality is there's a lot that we have to do over this summer. That was my point. I'm going to be doing a little bit of summer school teaching as well. Reason being is our salaries, we don't get paid over the summer. We split our 10-month paychecks into 12 months. We take a little bit from each month and reserve it for those 2 months that we don't get paid. And then a lot of us find separate jobs, and even with the other 2 months where we're working over the summer with those separate jobs, it's still not enough to cover the expenses. So when people say, oh, you get summers off, the reality is even if we work through summer, we still can't cover our main expenses unless you've been teaching for 20 or 30 years. That's a different story. Or unless your partner makes a boatload of money and can take care of the finances without your assistance if you have a partner. Not everybody chooses to get married. Not everybody chooses to be in a relationship. And so I feel for those teachers, because most likely they'll never be homeowners if they'd want to be a homeowner. As inflation goes up, you know, the little tiny raises that they get along the way still aren't enough for them to save along the way. North Carolina is one of the worst in the nation for teacher pay. And I've also taught in California. And if you think, you know, okay, you're making 60, 70,000 a year, you're probably doing pretty good, right? Well, it's California. The average house in the area I used to live in sold for close to $1 million. So that's $60,000 or $70,000 a year is not going to buy you a house in California. So it's all relative. Gas is expensive, food's expensive out there as well. While North Carolina is cheaper, oh boy, the salary stinks. So why do I keep teaching? I tell this to the kids. Kids ask me, wow, I'd never work for that much. I'm like, yeah, I get it. And guess what? I don't encourage them to become teachers. I encourage them to go off and do something that they love. Now, if they absolutely love teaching and it's the love of their life, awesome. And if you love teaching and it's the love of your life, awesome. Continue on with it. Big point I want to make though is when they say stop complaining, there is nothing wrong with fighting for better pay or fighting for better working conditions. Nothing wrong with that, okay? This is how the quality of your working positions and your jobs improve over time. There's no reason at all why you shouldn't work to improve those conditions. And part of those conditions is pay. It's just the reality. There's a lot of other things that could be improved, but you ever been responsible for 100 kids, right? 100. About 25 to 40, depending on what school you're at, will walk through that door every day and you'll have that constant rotation. Unless you're in elementary school, you're going to teach the same 25 to 30-ish kids throughout the day. You don't really have a break off point with that where you have periods and stuff. However, point being, it's not as easy as you'd think. They all come from different families, different backgrounds. Some of them are religious, some are not. Some of them have wild political views, some do not, and some are in the process of figuring out who they are. There's the whole area where they're ready to challenge authority, and that's kind of where I'm at. I'm in 6th grade, and towards the end of the year, they're coming into their own, experimenting with different parts of themselves, whether it be music or movies or politics or sports or whatever it is. They're finding themselves and they're finding their groups. And you as a teacher have to get them to love the things that you're teaching in class, which you have to teach your heart out. You have to figure out how to help the readers who are struggling way down below. I could be in 6th grade and the kids could be at a 2nd or 3rd grade reading level. And that doesn't always mean it's the teacher's fault before me. It's just how the system works. They roll them through no matter what, whether or not that kid needs extra support. Kids come from different families as well. So you also have those who are very affluent and they have tons of money and all the resources and tutors and everything, and their kids just zooming forward. So how do you help that kid in the same class, right? And the other kid who's way down here reach their goals or their dreams of being educated and to love learning and to have all the right books that everybody can read. And it's challenging enough for those who are high readers and accessible to those who are very low. And how do you create support systems within your curriculum that help those who are very low, whether it be graphic organizers or whatever, and then that challenge those who are very high, where you're giving them harder essays or you're grading them harder so that they can grow, and that they still feel challenged. You can make it easy, but how are they going to grow in the meantime? How are they going to become the scholars that they want to be? So it's a challenge that if you are not in the classroom and you never have been, you will never understand. You may say, well, I have kids of my own and I challenge them and they all have their own, challenges that they have to get through. Yes, that's true. But you don't have 100 kids. You have a couple. And that's where the difference is and the disconnect sometimes between parents and somebody from the outside looking in on education. And I just want to find a way to communicate that with others. I'd love to bring them into the classroom so they can have that opportunity to see what it's like. I worked most of my life in the private sector outside of education. I didn't join education until I was 38 years old. So I've done everything from restaurant management to working for, Goldman Sachs, big financial firm, right? And technology with telecommunications and things like that. I've done a lot of different jobs in my life. Landscaping, right? Parking lot sweeping. And when I mean like the trucks that suck up all the garbage in the parking lots. I've done all this stuff. Teaching is the hardest job I've ever had. It's very rewarding in the sense it's rewarding for the heart to teach those kids, but not rewarding in a way where I can come home and relax and enjoy my family because I'm stressed out as to what's going on with another kid's life or 100 kids' lives and what they're going through. So do I need this? Do I need a chance to take some time off in the year and reflect from the millions of questions that are coming from these little wonderful people that I teach? Yes, I do. And do I deserve it? Yes, I do. I will admit that. It is something that I think a lot of teachers need. They need to find themselves throughout the summer, reassess, and let their brain just calm down a little bit. Anyways, I hope that made things clear. That was kind of a weird pause break, almost 10 minutes evaluation of what's gone on over the last year of my life with teaching. But I teach with love, and I hope you guys understand that.